What if Naruto had his parents' knowledge and experience? Part 8. Disclaimer: I don't tone Naruto nor this fanfic. Warning: get ready for heavy sexual content. It has been 4 days since the attack. To their luck, the warehouses were all fine, and with that they had a day's worth of food. They had already sent out teams to gather supplies from the nearby city and countries. Jiraiya, that old pervert, had arrived yesterday, and today would the daimyo ring arrive. He with Shikamaru had drawn one seal after another. He even made 4 shadow clones, but it was still far away from enough. The problem was that the seal just needed so much chakra. The seal tracked back in time of the object and built it to how it was. It didn't function with any living thing, but objects had just a few information in them. However, the needed chakra to get this information and rebuilt it was massive. Even more as time passed or things were moved. They had already repaired 1/3 of Konoha, focusing on the buildings with the most living room. What surprised him was that the civilian and Shinobi didn't complain at all. They all worked every day to rebuild the village. Nobody had said something when he repaired his apartment first, or when he didn't let anybody aside from Shikamaru into sleep. It was a very strange behavior, and he had his suspicions, but he hadn't asked anybody for the reason for the change. A knock on the door got him out of his thoughts as Shikamaru stood up to open it. "Yes?" he asked in a monotone tone that didn't let his displeasure be heard, as the knock again ruined his concentration, ruining a seal. "The Fire Lord is here. We were sent to get Namikaze-san," the man said as Naruto already stood up. "Today they will choose a new Hokage." If he had to be honest, there weren't many jonin in the village that could take the role. Kakashi was too damaged to let him make decisions for the village. Shikaku was unwilling and not powerful enough. Jiraiya was just not right. His personality was questionable. Furthermore, he was also unwilling to take the hat. That left them with Tsunade or Danzo. Both were not suitable in his opinion. Danzo was too power hungry, and his vision for Konoha, while good, the ways to reach it are more than questionable. Tsunade, on the other hand, was even more broken than Kakashi was. She had a gambling and a drinking addiction. Furthermore, she had left the village for good, means that she had no idea what to do. That only left him with Shibuya. While he was a still man, he had the potential to be a Kage. He was powerful enough, had a logic mind, and was adaptable. All qualities needed for a Kage. "Let's move. Shikamaru, you will use the made seals to repair more buildings and then wait for me at the Hokage Tower," Naruto said as he put his golden coat on. Shikamaru just nodded as he took all the finished seals. "Daimyo ring," Naruto greeted as he entered the council room. It seemed that he was the last person to arrive. He quietly went to his seat and waited for the meeting to begin. "We have all come here today to choose the next Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato," the daimyo ring started. Hiruzen was a wise and powerful man, but also a good friend. "It will be hard to find someone who can take the hat from here on. I of course have looked through the list of the jonin with my advisors and have already formed my opinion." "Well, that was a good thing, but I would like to hear your thoughts first to see if we have overlooked something that only Shinobi can see. Let me hear your choices and arguments and I will reconsider my own choice." Now he could see why his parents respected the Fire Lord so much. The man was wise. He had his own will, and yet he wasn't too arrogant to disregard their thoughts. He could listen and yet make his own decision with the information he has. "I would like to nominate Shibuya. He has all qualities a Kage needs: power, loyalty, respect, and a mind that is adaptable and yet stubborn," Naruto said as he first. Many looked at the Aburame if he would accept, but the man just quietly shook his head. "I'm honored to be chosen, but Aburame don't lead. We work as an organism. We don't lead outside of the clan." Well, this shut down his only candidate. Let's see what the others had to say. "I would like to nominate myself," Danzo said. "Don't be shy," Kaka started, but Naruto cut him off. "Let him speak. We will all have our turn to voice our thoughts." Shikaka still looked angry but kept still. "I was a close companion and friend of Hiruzen, as I also have years of experience to access to. Konoha would bloom under." He was again cut off. "Ha! Don't make me laugh. You two completely different visions for Kono." Golden light filled the room when it encased the Jiraiya. "I said let the man speak. This is a serious meeting for the village's future. If you don't have the discipline to wait until it's your turn, then you better wait outside." The room was cold when Naruto released the Sannin. "As I said, Konoha would bloom under my reign. My name will set fear and respect into the hearts of our opponents, Something that in this critical time is a must, Danzo said as he finished. You have an objection, Jiraiya? The daimyo ring asked. He has no place as Hokage. His and Hiruzen's opinion were miles apart. Furthermore, he is getting old, his prime is already over, and the village would have to adjust to a new Hokage in a few years again. Jiraiya said. Consistency. Indeed, that were also my thoughts about Danzo. He is too old to bring consistency. The daimyo ring said. Danzo looked visibly upset about this comment. Then how about you, Jiraiya? You are not in your prime, but you could bring consistency for at least 20 years if not longer. The daimyo ring said. I'm not made for this position. I'm not a person to be tied down. Furthermore, I'm Konoha's spy master and the network can't be overtaken by someone else. Jiraiya said declined. Well, what are your thoughts on Tsunade? The daimyo ring asked into the round. She is unable to lead a village she had turned her back to. Furthermore, her spirit is broken. I don't think that it would be a wise decision. Danzo said. February 12, 2022, 1922 Naruto Uzumaki the Golden Godame Hokage, Chapter 15, My Character. Naruto, Archive of Our Own, https://archive-of-our-own.org/232232220/chapters/695783116 I would have to agree with Danzo on this point. We can't put her in the position when we aren't 100% sure that she is the best, and that can't be said right now. Naruto said. Kakashi the copy nin. Daimyo ring started, but Shikaku shook his head. The same problem. He is unstable as well. We don't know how much pressure we can put on him. Shikaku said as many of them nodded along. What about yourself? You have ruled for the 8 days and the village seems fine, the daimyo ring pointed out. It was a pain in the ass. Also, I don't think that the Shinobi want someone as their leader that fears his wife, Shikaku said as he got a few laughers. Then who should lead the village in your opinion? Who is the most qualified? The daimyo ring asked Shikaku. The Jonin commander's face turned to Naruto and it slowly downed him. No, absolutely not. This discussion is pointless, since we all know that perfect candidate is right here, Shikaku said, and Naruto wanted to argue back. But the daimyo ring stopped him. He is the most powerful Shinobi our village has. He is wise and logical. He is loyal and has the respect of whole Konoha behind him. He is young. Some people would say too young, but it will be long reign and with that a consistency. Shikaku said. He is too young. The boy may be powerful, but is he experienced enough to make the right decisions? How do we know that a child's decision will not ruin us? Hamura said. That is true. But how do we know that with anyone else? From the reports I received, it seems that he is very capable and smart. That is why he is also my chosen candidate before the meeting. The daimyo ring said as he looked at Naruto. I will have to decline, Naruto said, as most their faces fell. And why is that? The daimyo ring asked. Well, first of all, I'm too young. Many in the village will have problem with that. Second, I'm the Jinchu Uriki and at least half of Konoha hate me for it. Many of the council raised their eyebrows at that. That was all long gone, but Naruto never interacted with other people aside from the council, the gate guards and Shikamaru. And third, you all speak from leading Konoha. I'm not a person that leads. Surprisingly, he was interrupted by Asuma. You have been leading us the whole time, the meetings, organizing the people to rebuild the village. Even my father heard and respected your advice, Asuma said as many agreed along with him. No, I don't lead, I rule. There is small difference, not much, but it will stand in the way and it will become an obstacle in the future, Naruto said. But aside from Shikaku and the daimyo ring, they didn't seem to get it. Leading would be to give a Jonin advice and help him train, but he can choose what path he will go to. Ruling is to make this decision for the Jonin, to choose for him. That example might be a bit extreme, but it would go along this way. If I would become Hokage, the council members would be set back to advisors only with no voting right. This is something that could lead to a political rebellion, something that we must prevent, Naruto explained. And if you could rule, I mean, the daimyo ring asked. The elders almost fainted. I suppose, maybe until someone more suitable comes around. But I really don't like the idea of it, Naruto said, and some gaped at him. Even the Anbu had their mouths hanging. I suppose? What kind of yes is this? Well, since you supposedly agreed, it's settled then. If there is any objection, then now is the last chance to say something, the daimyo ring said. Nobody attempted to even move. Naruto could see the veins on Danzo's face bulging. It was strange no clan had any objections against him. Hyuga, Yamanaka, and Yuzuka or Kamiki. No one of them had said a word during this meeting. Were they content with his nomination, or are they plotting something behind his back? No. Good. As the daimyo ring of the land of fire, I declare Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze the good dame of Konohagakure no Sato. The people in the room bowed as most of them smiled. Well, he will continue his father's duties. Hokage-sama Shibi was the first to rise as he said it, following with the rest. You are all dismissed. I will declare my position this evening. Until then, this is to be kept a secret. I would like to talk with the daimyo ring alone now. The shinobi nodded as they all left the room. Naruto let himself fall back into his chair. As he stared at the ceiling, a long-suffering sigh escaped his lips. To put this heavy burden on a 13-year child. What cold man you must be, Naruto said. But the daimyo ring didn't react at all. He just stared back at him as he too sat back down and even put his feet on the table. And to reach your standing with this sage, what an even colder child you must be, the daimyo ring said. They both stayed quiet for a while until a small laugh escaped them. Many complaints will reach you, Naruto said with a laugh. And I will have to read them, but let us be honest. We both know that for the time being, there is no one better for this job. The daimyo ring answered back. I know, and I know now why my parents trusted you so much. Well, I hope for a good partnership, Naruto said as he stood up. You are the best of both of them, the daimyo ring said as Naruto left the room. He was about to go down when he saw the Hokage office. He slowly walked in as his fingers traced the wooden table. A sad smile grows on his face as he rounded it until he sat down in the chair. Call for my assistant, Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said with a sly smirk as he came in. This bastard knew it even before the meeting started and didn't had the slightest remorse not telling him. You ass better wipe that smirk from your face, or I gonna put you over my knee again, Naruto said with a satisfied smile as the Shikamaru grew pale, his face completely stoic. Well, nothing that I can change now. Go and pack my things up and bring them here. We will sleep here in the office for the time being. You can give the apartment key to someone whose house we won't be able to rebuild, Naruto instructed. Of course, Hokage-sama. He will whip that smack smile from his face when this whole disaster is over. Naruto looked through the drawers just to find 2 bottles of sake. Well, Hiruzen seemed to have his fun here. He also found a few documents he was working on, but all in all it was too little. The list of shinobis, their abilities, S-rank secrets. They were all missing. That left only 2 options. 1. Someone took them, or 2. Hiruzen kept them somewhere else. The second option was the most likely. Well, he had to ask his personal Anbu first and search later if he doesn't know it. He had to stabilize the village first. Everything other than that can be made afterwards. He sighed as he walked to the door and opened it. Looking around, he saw a few civilian organizing documents. Since the Chunin were all going around the village. I need Jiraiya, the Jonin and Anbu commander in my office, he said to the Anbu guard. He turned and closed the door as he was sure that the man would do as he was told. His second concern was his power. He wasn't nearly as powerful as before the attack. He doubted that anyone would try to attack him after his display, but still the danger was still present. Other villages would keep their distances from him for the time being. He had defended against Obiji Udama. Hashirama was the only one that was known to do that. His father did the same, but he had teleported the thing away. He didn't take it head on like he did, but thinking about it, his father's move was way more practical. He will have to get stronger, even more than before. To reach this, he will have to overcome his hatred first and then find a new motivation. He will reset his whole skill system, just like Shikamaru. He will use a unique weapon. A knock on the door stopped him, as he got back into his chair and calmed his mind for a second. Come in, you have called for us, Hokage-sama, the Anbu captain asked as he kneeled with Shikaku before him. Naruto raised a brow as Jiraiya still kept standing but didn't say anything for now. Yes, does anyone of you know where Hiruzen hid his documents? Their faces already said that they had no idea. Sly fox this old man. He didn't even say something to his student or commanders. Well, doesn't matter for now. I want you and Jiraiya to investigate this invasion. Why weren't we informed by our spies? Why didn't anyone see the summon from the west side coming? How come that the barrier didn't register a Jinshu Uriki coming in? I want answers to all of this. Now go, Naruto said to the Anbu commander as he just bowed and left with Jiraiya. So, how is it to sit in the highest position? Shikaku asked as he didn't speak for a while. Well, not so different from what I thought it would be. I have more people to command around, Naruto said with a laugh. You have a whole village to command around, Shikaku said as he laughed with Naruto. I want you to investigate how much this will all cost and how many people have died during the attack. In and outside of the wall, we need to prepare a funeral, Naruto said as Shikaku nodded. Is there something else? He asked before he did what his Hokage told him to. You will say something when I go overboard, won't you? Naruto asked seriously, as his facial expression showed how troubled he was with this situation. I wouldn't have voted for you when I was uncertain that you will make good decisions. I of course will warn you should something cross the line, Shikaku said with a smile. Thanks, you are dismissed. Shikaku nodded as he walked to the door, but Naruto stopped him. Tell your son that he should hurry up. I can see him cloud watching from here, Naruto said as Shikaku just shook his head. Give it to his son to let the new Hokage. Wait, well, I have to find the documents myself then, Naruto thought as he released his chakra to scan the room. Sadly, he couldn't detect any chakra. That old geezer really used the ancient method and hid it like a normal person. He searched for a whole of 2 hours with Shikamaru coming in an hour ago. It was so frustrating. He needed the classified information, or he wouldn't know what missions are on a go right now. What spies are in his village, to which village they belong. Found it, got thunk. Yes, he will forgive Shikamaru for being lazy earlier if they are really the papers he was searching for. Where were they? Naruto asked as he took them from the other boy. Under the table is tiny hole, it seems that it could be opened with just a little chakra. A breath, Naruto, breath. There is nothing to be angry for, he thought as he slumped into his chair. The reports were detailed and had all kinds of secrets. Secrets that could mean the end of this village. Uchiha clan killed from their own village for this power-hungry bastard, but why didn't Hiruzen say anything? Nevertheless, this secret can never be known to anyone, it could destroy the whole of Konoha. What a disaster it would be when the clans couldn't trust each other anymore. That could lead to a rebellion, but he couldn't keep it a secret forever. Someday, someone will find out about it, or he could try to kill everybody that knows this secret. Thought. That is something for him to think about later. He should focus to read over all the files concerning his shinobis, their age, clan, gender and abilities. He had to know all of them to categorize them. He will change the system and will start with the ranking. There are way too many Jonin and Chunin out here that are too below in skill than the rank suggests. He took his time reading through each person with focus as he sorted them. Who would have thought that Hiruzen had hidden a wood release user? That is something he can work with. He could grow his talent and make him Hokage. Wood release was practically your free pass to get the Hokage seat, but it seemed that the man had very limited access to it. Well, he will see what this man can do. He can be returned to Anbu shouldn't it work out. Looking at the clock, he saw that it was already 6 p.m. He had read these personal files for 3 hours and yet he couldn't even cover 1/4 of it. He will need help with that, someone that sorts through them before. Shikamaru, give the order to announce that the new Hokage will be presented at 7 p.m., he said as he looked at the seal the boy had made while had read through the files. Shikamaru was fast in making them, but his precision with the brush wasn't the best. 2 of your seals are too rough. They won't be usable, Naruto said as he took his brush to correct them. That can't be. I sure that I had made them all perfectly, Shikamaru said as he looked at the points Naruto corrected. You have to be more careful. Quality is way more important than quantity. It can lead to your death, if your seal doesn't work in a fight, Naruto said seriously as he fixed the last one. As Shikamaru nodded with a pout. Naruto didn't take it too well as he took Shikamaru's hand and pulled him beside him. Here, you will practice your calligraphy again until I'm satisfied with it, Naruto said with a commanding tone, and Shikamaru no better than to argue with him. Thought, That didn't stop him from sighing. Shikamaru glanced at Naruto from time to time as they saw the other boy read his papers with so much focus. It amazed him how Naruto could focus this much on these papers, when he would hold a speech to the entire village in a few minutes. Was he not nervous? He had the burden to lead an entire village and yet he seemed 100% content with it, or was just hiding his uneasiness. It's time. Let's get this over with, Naruto said 5 minutes before 7 and Shikamaru could only stare. Let's get this over with, what kind of thing is that to say as the future Hokage? Naruto, please say that you will use more dignified words up there, he asked to make sure. You don't have to worry. I will not embarrass you, Naruto said as put his golden coat on. The villagers stared up at the Hokage tower as they wanted to see who their next leader would be. The Shinobi wanted to know who would be responsible for their missions, who they would swear their loyalty to, who would protect them. The civilian on the other hand wanted to know who they might be dealing with. Was he or she experienced enough to stabilize the village's economy after this disaster? Would the new Hokage change the taxes? Would that affect their daily life? They all quieted down as the clan leaders and elders came into sight. That meant that none of them had become Hokage. That wouldn't leave too much options open. The council members all stepped aside as golden light appeared and small figure came out. You have to be kidding me, Kakashi said as he started to sweat looking at the figure that would be their Hokage. That can't be right, Sasuke said as he looked at the person that refused to train him no matter what. Sensei is Hokage, Hinata asked into the round of Junin as they all stared up at the small child. Naruto looked down at the faces of his people. They were confused, angered and saddened. To his surprise, he didn't see one who was disappointed. Well, that was a start. He channeled chakra into his vocal cords as he started to speak. For these that don't know me yet, I'm Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. As of today, I was chosen to be your Godame. He started as his voice was carried over the whole of Konoha. Some may say that I'm too young, and they may be right. I just turned 13 a few months ago after all. But age doesn't matter in this position. I was chosen for my qualities, my power, my intelligence and my loyalty. Most of the civilian looked uncertain, while the Shinobi said was rather content. If I had to be honest, I would rather not be your Hokage. Some looked down, while others looked confused at his statement. And I'm sure most of you don't want me as Kage either. Most of you hate, resent me, for I have the Kyuubi sealed inside me. Some of you glared at me. Others just ignored me, some even tried to kill me. And that all before I turned 8, for something that wasn't even my fault to begin with. The older generations looked away and shame as guilt started to build up. My father, the 4th Hokage, saved all your lives as he sealed the Nine-Tail inside me. I saved your lives every day by not letting him out. And what is it that I get in return? A miserable life. I'm not even sure if my parents would have saved you if they know what would happen. The younger generation were confused. People had tried to kill their sensei, had tried to kill the person that saved all their lives a few days ago, but some started to understood now why their parents always told them to stay away from Naruto. So, most of you must understand why I don't want to be your Hokage. But well, this village is the only thing I have left of my parents, and even someone like me has a few friends. Some laughed at his comment. So, for both sides, if we like it or not, the power was given to me. Hiruzen was a wise man, but he was also old. I will handle things different than he did. My focus will be different. Some of the crowd cringed at that. Change was always risky. Suna together with Orochimaru has attacked us. This would have never happened if they thought that Konoha is strong. Their attack almost destroyed us. I would even say annihilated us. We had luck that the Kyuubi was generous enough to lend me some of his chakra to fight back, or we would be all dead today. One thought went through all their heads. The Kyuubi had helped them. Was this even possible? Or was the boy laying to change their hearts? But it wouldn't make sense to say that right now. He already had most of them on his side. Had the Bujuu really saved them? Konoha is weak how it is today. Peace is a good thing and I will continue to chase it. However, that doesn't mean that I will let the things be as it is. I have planned to change the Shinobi ranking first. Some of them stiffened at his sentence. That could only mean more work. Many Jonin, but mostly Chunin have specialized in Gen, Ken, Nin or whatsoever, but you are not unique enough anymore. Many of them died because of this. I will change that. A shudder run down most of the Chunin's backs. Konoha has around 10,000 shinobi and I will reevaluate each one personally. Now most of them paled. Reevaluation with him? But the most important thing right now is my council. I plan to change a few things about it. The elders let loose a silent prayer. I will hold a meeting next week. Until then I want you to choose a representative for Academy student, Jinyan, Chunin, Jonin. How you chose them is yours to discuss. I also want someone that represents the shinobis with civilian background, preferable with high ranking. The shinobi under him nodded all. I also want current members there, as also the heirs to each clan. I also want the intelligence division, the barrier team and an academy teacher. His current council released a breath as they heard him. At least they weren't kicked out. Lastly, I want civilian experts in agriculture, financial, architecture and management. Again, how you choose them is up to you. If you have questions regarding these then ask my secretary. Shit, he was so done, Shikamaru thought, as he heard how much work would come up. Well, I hope we all get along and rise this village back to have it once was, Naruto said with a small bow. It started slowly but the shinobi started to kneel, while the civilian bowed. A smile appeared as Naruto looked over the people. His people. Then let us get to work, he shouted. Hi, Hokage-sama, they shouted back.